Hello and welcome everyone to the Purl Girl Knit Podcast, episode 1. This is super exciting. It's something that I've been wanted to do for a little bit over a year now, and that I've never really did because I was scared and intimidated by it. And it happened really often that I actually set up everything to record and then just never did it and put everything away. So today is the day. It is Wednesday, July 27th, 2016, and it is episode 1. My name is Catherine. I will be your host for this podcast, crafty related things, and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry under Purl Girl Knits. I will put, if I can't put it inside the video, I'll put it in the down bar here, and under Ravelry and Instagram. And I will create a group for this podcast so that we can all have some chatters about things and help each other out. What I will also do is that I will try to insert times inside the video or in the down bar below within the different segments, so within the different crafts that I'm doing, because I know that if you like cross stitch, you might not want to listen about knitting things, or vice versa. If you like knitting things, you might not want to listen to about spinning or whatever. So I'll put time so that you can actually just go have a look at whatever you want if you're only one or not all of those crafty things. So today we will talk about knitting, spinning, cross stitching. We will also talk about acquisition and about a future project that I have in mind to do. So let's start with knitting. I am knitting a sweater, which is my first ever sweater, which is really exciting. And here's what I have so far. It's all curling up down here, unfortunately, because it's all knit stitch, but you get an idea. So this is an adult sweater. And I've started actually with those yarns, wanted to do an outdoor poncho cloak kind of pattern, and I've started it down, and really quickly within the pattern I kind of realized that the yarn was too amazing to actually do an outdoor garment with it. So I frogged everything out and I've started this sweater. I've started this sweater 3 times because of it's nothing related to the pattern, it's really user issues. At one point I forgot to change yarn, and at one point I did something, but it was kind of a little bit messy, so I decided to frog everything up and just restart it. But I'm really happy with how it actually looks, and I'm really happy with how the arms are actually knit up. So the yarn that I'm using for this pattern is the white and the beige, so the white and the oatmeal, are both Cascade Yarn Echo Island Duo. And it is a mix of 70% undyed baby alpaca and 30% undyed merino wool. It is super soft and squishy, guys. And the colorway, I only have one of the 2 colorways. So it's 2204. I don't know if it's the white or if it's the oatmeal color. And then this shiny blue right here. I don't know if you see how blue it is. It looks a little bit darker, but on the arm here you have a better look. This is Barocco Lustra. And it is a mix of 50% Peruvian wool and 50% tencel. So, but it is super soft and squishy, and I love it. And both 3 yarns are single plied, so I'm not sure how it's gonna wear out. But even if it does wear out pretty quickly because it's a single ply and not multiple plies, I'm still super happy with just the knitting process of it and with how it looks. I love the combination of the 3 yarns, and I love everything. The only thing I'm not too sure about this is the color, because, so this pattern is the Leslie sweater by Anna Fettick, and the only thing with this sweater, so here's how it looks, and like as you can see, it's a nice large color, like a boat style color, and that's what I really like about this sweater, and I don't feel like I'm getting this right now. So I'll knit it up, I'll try it on when everything's going to be finished and actually at its place where it's supposed to be, and see what I do with the color, if I like it as it is or if it's not as large and boaty as I want it to. If that's the case, I'm just going to rip it from the bottom and re-knit to create that shape. But I have to say, the pattern is fantastic. It's my first Anna Fettick. Pattern, and I love it. I simply love it, and I will definitely do more pattern from her because they are easy to do, and I feel like all the patterns that I've seen from her are nice day-to-day wear. So this is first. And my progress keeper, let me find it right here. It's this gorgeous little ladybug. I love it. It's rustic. It's gorgeous. There's even like a back to it. It's not just to one side. And I'll come back to it a little bit later on with some other stuff that I had, because I got this in a swap, the progress keeper. So this is what I'm working on right now. I've been working a lot on this. I've been traveling a lot for the past few weeks, and which kind of, I decided to narrow down my project for that purpose, and so I only have that on the needle right now. I have one other thing on the needle. It's a long-term project. It was supposed to be done in November, December. It was a gift for someone, which obviously don't have it yet. She knows, we talked about it. Everything's good, guys, don't you worry. But I need something. It is complicated. It's a double knit, and it's a blanket. It was a baby blanket. It's still gonna be a baby blanket. Like, as soon as it's gonna be done, I'll give it to her. It's basically 5-section. So there was a heart section, there was an owl section, there was a middle section, and then you kind of mirror everything up on the other side. I'm still in the first half. The hearts went really well. The owls went also really well. I hit a bump when I got into the middle section. And I have this in my basket because it's way too big to actually keep somewhere. So let's start. Okay. Oop. I'll try to not lose any stitches over there. Okay, so here's the hearts. I hope you see well because I don't see anything I'm doing right now. There you go. So here are the hearts. Here is the owls, which I really love. I have a thing for owls, guys. So when I proposed that to her and she actually said yes, I was really happy. And here's the middle section. And then on the other side, which is just opposite colors, we have white as the patterns and then colors as the background instead of the other way around. So everything went well until I got into that middle section, and I think it's because it's a 6, is it a 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 6 stitches repeat, and the pattern is not intuitive enough to actually be able to do one and then follow. It takes about like a quarter or third of the way before I actually get a hang out of it. And I can't. Every time I look at it, I'm sad. I just don't want to anymore. I don't want to anymore. But I really want to go back to the owls and finish this blanket because this blanket is awesome. It really is awesome right now. And I love it. So I find a place in the middle section where I would actually be able to start the mirror of it. So I think I have 2 or 3 rows left to do before I start that mirror section, which is, I think, halfway of what I was supposed to do. So I'm trying, I know I have to go through that middle section to get back into the groove of this blanket, but my heart is not in it anymore, which is sad, and I really want to get back to it. I even got into the, like, let's do 1 row only a day or 1 row every 2 days, but even then I do 1 row and then I just put it aside and I'm done. And I'm done for a while after that. So if you guys have any advice, oh my gosh, by all means, leave a message in the Ravelry group on how to tackle this. Because if you do have any advice, I will take anything you have. I need something to push me to complete this blanket. So hopefully this podcast is going to be it. And because I showed it to you guys, now I kind of have to do progress on it, isn't it? And the yarn that I'm using for this is Cascade Yarn Sateen Worsted. I do have, so is there a colorway? Oh, there's no colors, there's just numbers. So this is color 41, which is a yellow marigold kind. And then the light green is color 32. It's kind of a minty color. The camera kind of showed it fairly true to itself. The white is an off-white. It's not fully white, as you can see. It's off-white. And this is color 21. And I don't believe I have the dark blue with me, because I have a box with tons of balls of that, because I really didn't want it to miss any and then have another color lot, and so I ordered a batch. I will have leftovers afterwards for sure, which is fine. I'm fine with yarn leftovers, as probably all of you guys are. So these are the 2 projects that I had on my needles at the moment. And I have a question for you. I have this gorgeous little container full of scraps and minis, and I'm looking for something to do with it. I know everybody's doing those scraps blanket, but I don't know. They're not quite something that I think I would do. So if any of you has any ideas of what to do with those scrappy little bit, please, by all means, let me know in the Ravelry group under the episode thread. And I was almost thinking to do like the little birds that a lot of people doing. And I was thinking if I start them early, I can have a bunch for Christmas and then add them to Christmas gifts or Christmas wrapping instead of a pom-pom or a little something to have those little bird. So please let me know. Okay. I want to show you a finished object that I had in a few weeks ago that I posted on Instagram. It's not blocked yet because I've been traveling for so much and working so pretty much for the last few weeks that I didn't have time, and I wasn't home long enough to actually justify this. So here is the shawl. It is the Red Rock Canyon shawl by Romy Hill. It's the second time I'm doing this shawl. I did another one about, I believe, a year ago that I gift away for. It was for a friend of mine, a mentor of mine, and I gifted away. And so I did another go at it. The only big difference that I did with this one is that this whole section of eyelet, so not this, from here on, in the pattern they do actually alternate the 2 colors, and I've just decided to do the 1 color and actually just had an accent of color at the end of the shawl. So that's what I did. And then the other change that I did is that for the bind off, it's the pattern calls for I believe what is a picot bind off, but I did a lot of picot bind off lately, and I just kind of wanted a nice, just normal, tight edge, and leave the rest of the shawl do the work. And this is what I did, and I'm really, really pleased with it. So the yarn that I've used for this is actually my hand spun yarn, and so I spun both of them. They are a mix of merino and silk, both of them. And I believe there's a little bit of bamboo in the blue one. The blue, I actually dyed myself with my sister. We had an afternoon that we actually, we took a bunch of fiber and we went crazy and did a lot of dye experiment, and that's what we did. And I'm really super pleased with it because there's a lot of white coming out of it, and it kind of blends a bit with the white that's coming out of the gray. And I love it. I just simply love it. So I still need to kind of weave in the ends and block it, but it's gonna be a nice, winter shawl because it's really warm. I started this in January and I wanted it to be done in February, but then in January my work schedule kind of went crazy, and then I put that on the back burner for a little bit. But I'm glad I finished it, and this is done. Waits to be blocked, and we'll be ready for the fall coming up. So this is good. Next segment, let's go into spinning. So I am spinning right now. I like to keep, this is my big spinning fiber bag that I keep, I just leave it beside my spinning wheel in the living room, and at least everything is nice and tidy and not crazy, so when people comes over I still kind of feel that it's not all over the place. And so I have 2 birds of that. So look at this. I love it. I love it. It reminds me of paintings. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And this is from Turtle Purl Yarns. And it is 84% superwash wool and 16% sparkly nylon. I actually thought at first that it was just Stellina. And when I actually looked at the label, because the label clearly says it, it's a sparkly nylon, which is really exciting because then I have the opportunity of maybe doing socks out of it, which really excites me. So here's what I have so far. I really love how the color changes go. You can't really see there's some black underneath there. So black's from here. And it really just creates a wonderful contrast. And I love it. I just love it. I'm not too sure yet if I'm gonna do a 2-ply and just kind of like barber pole it and see how color aligns and just leave it to the odds, or if I'm actually gonna do Navajo ply and do a 3-ply chain ply and try to keep those color sections and not a lot of barber pulling in it. So I'll see. I still have lots to spin, so I'm gonna give my chance. I'm gonna give me time to actually spin at least 2 bobbin and then see what I do, and we'll go from there. So this is my spinning projects at the moment. Okay, now let's go into cross stitching. I've just started cross stitch like literally a month ago. I've never touched this cross stitch before. I did some needlework prior to, which was, it was a dog needlework that I got over 10 years ago. I don't even remember exactly how long I got that, but it was more than 10 years ago. And it was a really complicated one because there was a lot of wave and tiny color changes. And if I remember, I'll show it to you on the next podcast that I'm going to do. And so I kind of started and then put it aside and then started a little bit over again and then put it aside. And then 10 years later, I moved in November, and so my stuff kind of moved with me, of course. And so as I was unpacking everything, I've kind of taken it out and decided that it was now time to finish it, because over 10 years is way too long. So I digged into that in May, June, finished it. I'm happy with it. I am truly happy with it. It took a while. It was a little bit complicated, but it was all done. And then I realized that there was a mistake in the amount of floss that I had for it. And I was missing one pack of black, but they are tapestry floss, so they are they're more like yarn looking than cross-stitching floss. And I was missing one. And it was too late. Like, it was done. And I was lucky enough, my mom also does that kind of tapestry needlework. And she had extra black with her. She had one pack completely open and then one pack that was already used. So she sent it to me by mail, the pack that was already used, because I didn't miss that much. It was about like a 2 inches square. And so I got her package, her floss, and I finished that, and I was really happy with it. And I've decided after that to start cross-stitching, because it's something I've never did before. And I've started cross-stitching for 2 reasons. One is that we've just moved, our walls are really empty. We were in a really, really small basement previous to this place, and so I didn't really, we didn't have a lot of decorations or things like that, because we also knew that we wouldn't stay there forever and that we were planning on moving in the upcoming years. It just ended up being in November. We moved, and as I realized as I get into this bigger living room that we really didn't have a lot of Christmas stuff. And I love Christmas. I am a big Christmas fan. I love Christmas. And so I've decided to start cross-stitching to do 2 stockings to put on my wall just behind me, so over the couch in the living room, and to have on those 2 stockings just plain ornament stocking, not usable stocking, but just for to put on the wall. So I decided to do 2 and then have a Merry Christmas on the stockings. And I'm still kind of on the fence on the Merry Christmas on top instead of the names basically on top. So I'm gonna do both stockings, and then at the end I'll see if I do the Merry Christmas or if I just kind of let it go. So first one, and this was totally, I have to say, this was totally generated by Sue from the Legacy Knits podcast. I love those girls. They are amazing. I want to be their friend. And she did the second one that I haven't started yet. So she worked on this one. And I totally loved it. And so I decided to give it a go. So this is the second one I'm going to do because I got it later on in the process. So I've already started to work on the first one. And so I'm going to finish the first one before starting the second one. Because if not, my projects are going to be all over the place. So this is the Jolly Trio stocking by Dimension Works. And it is just super cute and adorable. I love it. How can you not love this little snowman? He's amazing. And so the second stocking that I'm going to put on the wall beside me that I've actually started is also from Dimension Works, because I wanted kind of 2 kits that would be look-alike. Still kind of be different. And so this one is Stack of Critters stocking. And here we go. I love it. It's just cute and adorable. Don't you think it's adorable? Don't you think this is going to be like a good combo on the wall. I think it's going to be cute. What do you guys think? Let me know. Let me know in the comments if you think this is actually going to be a good duo on the wall. I don't want to do two identical, and so I kind of thought that those ones were fun and cute, but still kind of different. So here's my progress on the stack of critters. And I have a little bit of the polar bear started, but not quite. So started with the middle and then made my way back down again. Because the middle is really important so that it actually nicely, so that it fits nicely in on the fabric, so that afterwards we can actually cut it out and make the stocking shape out of it. So the bird is done. There was only the two eyes that needs to be added to him, but he is mostly done. And then I'm in the middle of the penguin. So his face is done, with a few little exceptions. Oops, in the mouth over here. And then I'm gonna go and do the scarves and the body and then make my way down. This is on a blue 14 count Ida, I believe. 14 count light blue Ida. And the floss, I don't know what the floss company is, but it's coming from them. And it's all organized, like you can see over here. It's organized like this. So I don't know, but it's pre-organized floss. I'm not a fan of those, because they are really tangled together and it's a big mess. I am on my way to leave on vacation on this weekend, basically. And on my way back at the end of August, September, I think that I will actually invest into the DMC plastic little bobbins and the DMC box to put everything in with the number and all of that, so that it's going to be better organized and not a mess, because right now it is a mess and I am a really organized person. I just didn't want to invest in it without knowing if I would really like cross-stitching or not, but I do. I actually kind of do. It does ask a little bit more of attention than knitting does for me, mostly because you need to really follow that pattern and go and not make any mistakes. But and knitting is just more intuitive because I've been knitting for longer than I've been cross-stitching, because I've been, as I said, cross-stitching for a month. But I did a little mistake. In this podcast, I have to say, I will talk about my mistakes and my good things, because it's a life podcast, and mistakes is part of life and is part of arts, and sometimes you decide to go with the mistakes and sometimes you decide to actually rectify it and fix your mistake. So in this one, in this arm right here, this was really at the beginning of the process as I was going from the middle, which I don't quite remember what it was, and I was trying to find ways to go up because it's way easier for me to cross stitch from down instead of up, and I don't know how I did that. I really have no idea how I did that, but I totally missed one row of this arm completely. Like, I jumped one row. And I jumped one line. And I think I recovered pretty nicely, because I don't think you can actually show it. Like, I don't think you know that. If you don't know that there's a row missing, it's still pretty looking. It's not horrible. It's pretty. And I keep looking at every day that I'm cross-stitching on it, and I don't see it. If it would have bugged me, I would have probably undo everything on this arm and redo it as I was going, but it's not. It's totally working. Go me. the other cross stitch project that I'm working on is a special gift for my partner, Jason. It's one of his Christmas gifts, so if you are watching, which I don't think he's going to be, but who knows, he really encouraged me to do things in life, and this is one of the things he actually encouraged me to do. So if you are watching, please look away and turn the sound off and just stop watching the podcast, at least this episode. So I am doing a Bubba Fett cross stitch pattern. It is from the Stitch Bucket. Here you go. I got this on Etsy. So printable pattern, download PDF kind of thing. And so I actually bought this first and then bought my Christmas stocking kits afterwards. And I have to say, because I've never cross stitched before and I don't know anybody who cross stitched, I looked at the pattern with all the symbols on it and I was a little bit stoked. I didn't know that cross stitch charts were symbols. It was funny. It was something. I have to say, my reaction that day was pretty funny for the people that were around me. And I worked a lot yesterday and today because I just came back home yesterday and I'm just on my way to leave back. Like I said, I've been traveling back and forth all summer long. So I worked really hard yesterday and this morning to finish the first page of the Bubba Fett cross stitch. The thing that was really complicated is that I can't do it while my partner is around or near me or anything in the same house as me. So as I was traveling, I was always leaving it at home and hide it and not taking it with me when I was on my way with him. And so I didn't had a lot of cross stitch time on this. And so I was cross stitching this when I was alone and knew that I was alone for a while, and then I was jumping on this stocking when I was with him in the same room. And so I finished the first page, which is it's the most full page because it's a complete page. The 8 other pages of the pattern, it's a 9-page pattern. The 8 other pages of the pattern is not full stitching pages. It's designs and then you have some empty space in between. So, but this one was the full page. So here you go. It is a 50 stitch by 60 stitch, and which brings us to 3,000 stitches for this page, minus 3, but plus other ones. So, but I have to say that I am super stoked and happy with it. I love it. It takes me a really long time to do this, but like I say, I'm really new to it. And so for me, stitching actually takes longer than probably other people out there. But so this is all my middle part, and then I have to add everything around. So that's why this one is a full complete stitch page, and the other ones have empty space with it. So this is on. It was calling for a 14, a 16, or 18 count fabric, and it does tell you in the pattern the size of the final product, which depending on if you choose a 14, a 16, or 18. At this point, I've seen the 14 count. I knew this was a 14 count, so I ordered a 16 and I ordered a 28 count fabric because I'm new to this, so I didn't really know what the real difference would be in it outside of the counts per inch. And I have to say, I really, really love the 28 count. I think I am a 28 count convert. I love it. I love it. I love it. Who knows? Maybe my next project, we'll see. I might go and try 42, not 42, 32 or 40 to see what the difference would be between a 28 and a little bit well, smaller holes, bigger count, and go from there. But I have to say that between the 14 and 24 and the 28, the 28 is a winner for me. So here's once again my middle section of the Bubba Fett, which I really like. It's going to be for his office, because his office is Star Wars, Star Trek, and all of that kind. I love it. Okay, and so this is for cross stitch. And now let's jump into acquisition. Yay! I went to a yarn shop yesterday because I told you I am on my way back on vacation. Not back on vacation, but on vacation next weekend. And I'll be gone for about 2.5 weeks or so. And I love to knit on the plane. I just love it. It's my go-to on the plane. I love to knit socks on the plane because it's mindless and it's easy and it's small, so it's easy to put in the little pocket in front of you. And so I was going to get some wooden needles to do socks because I have a pair, but they are 2.5 millimeters, and I want to try to do a sock with a 2 or 2.25 millimeters to have just a little bit of a tighter socks. And I was also looking to have wooden needles to put on my sweater in case. And so I went somewhere, but they didn't have what I wanted, which was kind of unfortunate. But oh well, it's life. It's still always fun to go in the yarn shop. All of you guys know. And of course I told myself that I wouldn't buy anything, and of course I did. So let's show you what I got. I did get a West Yorkshire Spinner Signature 4-ply. Here you go. I bought that, and I bought it in black to make my partner Jason a pair of socks. He is not the kind of guy who will ask for any knitting items. He did mention that it would be kind of nice to have a pair of socks, but he didn't want to ask me for a pair of socks because he knows that he goes through his socks really quickly and makes hole in them really, really fast. And he didn't want me to put time into it, knowing that it would end up with holes in it and then might not be worth it. So I bought in black. He's a black sock guy. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do for that. I would wish he would be a color kind of sock guy, because then it would be amazing, but he's a black sock kind of guy. So when I'll come back from my trip at the end of August, I will start and knit him his first, really first pair of socks, which is exciting. He's excited. I talked to him about it last night, and we'll see how that goes. It's going to be my first man sock ever, so I'll have to adjust my stitch count and my length and all of that. So I'm going to do this while he's going to be around for a while, and to make sure that he can try it as we go. But yay, black socks. Yeah. And I also got it's from Poppy Yarn and Fiber. Here's a tag. It is in the bolo tie. Here you go. Bolo tie colorway. It is on her Fraser socks. Fraser socks. It is 460 yards, 100 gram, and it is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And it is hand dyed here in Calgary, which is awesome for me. I do like to encourage local dyer and yarn creators. And I just couldn't say no to this. How could you say no to this? They only had 2 in the shop of this color. They had other colors as well, but this one just talked to me. The color is fairly true to what it is. The only thing I think is this one is just slightly more green, but that's just me being picky. It is really it is really how it is. And I like those little blue speckles in there. These are so gorgeous. So I bought this at The Loop in Kensington in Calgary. And the lady from the shop was explaining to me that Poppy Yarn Fiber does have an Etsy shop where she sells her yarn. Although the colors that they have at The Loop is only available at The Loop and not on her Etsy shop. So if you do like this color, The Loop in Kensington, there was one more. So I don't know how regularly they get new shipment or new colorways or all of that, but I love it. I just love it. Look at that. Look at that. You can't say no to this. And it is really soft and squishy. I am looking into, in 2017, I'm looking into doing the 1 month, once pair of sock every month, and have my partner to put yarns into brown bags or not see-through bags so that I can see what's in it and mix and match them, and so basically he's gonna decide in which month I'm knitting what socks. Somebody did that, I think, was it last year or the year before? I'm not too sure. But I totally didn't jump on that wagon at the time, so I decided to do it for myself next year, and I bought this for this purpose. So this is going to be one of my 12 socks of 2017, if I can resist that long, which is my hope. Which is my hope. And I got a bag. Like I said earlier, I have a thing for owls, and this is a little Birdie Howell bag, and it is from Gleaner. Not sure if that's how you're supposed to pronounce it, but I love it. The back is just plain. I love polka dots, and I love birds, and it ends up being like this, and I love it. And I always have a tote bag with me, always, 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 to have stuff in it. And I love it. It's just gorgeous. How cute is this? This is adorable. I love it. I love it. So I got that as well. This is what I got yesterday. I will show my Hedgehog Fiber Sock Club. I will not show you July, because I did get my July one. But I'm not sure that everybody got it at this point, so I don't want to show it. But I'm going to show you my June one, because at this point, technically, since July is sent off, most people should have got their June one yet. If you are one of those few people that are waiting for their June Hedgehog sock fiber, please look away. I will not talk about the color, so you can just close your eyes, and I will tell you when you can look back if you don't want to be spoiled. And so are you ready? So this is the June sock Hedgehog fiber. Whoa! This is amazing. This is simply amazing. I don't have to talk about the color because it kind of does it by itself. It's gorgeous. I have 2 skeins of this because I did order 2. In my sock club, I ordered 2, so they do send me 2 skeins every month. 2 skeins of the same color. And so this is the colorway. And it's gorgeous. And because I have 2 skeins, I'm not too sure yet if I'm going to do something more like a shawl, or if I'm going to incorporate it maybe in a sweater or a shirt, or if I'm actually going to make socks out of it. So I'll have to see. So the yarn is put away. If you did look back for the segment, please look again. The yarn is put away. And yeah, it's just gorgeous. And as I say, I did receive my July shipment, which I will show you next month, probably like in a month from now, to see to make sure that most people got theirs before I actually show it, so that you're not going to get spoiled. Okay, last segment, upcoming project. Upcoming project, which I think I'm going to take on the plane with me, is going to be a pair of socks. It's a pair of inside socks, so I'm okay with the yarn that I'm using, because I'm not going to wear that in shoes or anything. It's just going to be when it's cold in the winter and I need something in my feet to warm them up. So this is Madeline Tosh. Madeline Tosh Merino Light. 100% superwash merino wool, fingering weight, 420 yards. In the reindeer colorway. Look at this. Oh my god. This is amazing and fantastic, and the color is exactly what it is. I can't wait to knit this up, and I decided to do a contrasting heel with this. This is just going to be gorgeous. It's gonna be gorgeous. And this is, oops, there's a price tag on top of it. Is it on the other one as well? It's Seedling. I don't know if Seedling is the company name. I don't think it's a company name because there's something in front of it, but the price tag is glued on it, so I don't know. But it is Seedling, 90% superwash, USA Merino, 10% nylon, 60 yards, 18 gram, in the color Fawn. And it is just this gorgeous twisted brown. So I think this is going to be a really great match. I'm just not too sure if with 18 grams and 60 yards, I actually have enough to do toe and heel, or if I can just do heel. I have two of those, one for each sock. If you do have the answer, because I've never did a contrasting heel before, so this is going to be the first one. So if you do have the answer to that, please let me know, because if I can do toe and heel, I'm totally going to do toe and heel. But if I cannot, if it's not enough, then I'm just going to do heel, and maybe like a little border if I have leftovers. So this is my next project, which I'm going to take on the plane with me in the next couple of weeks, and my next spinning project, which is going to be a little bit way longer down the road, because like I said, I do have a lot of this still to spin. I'm kind of debating between those two. This is only what I got from this one. The sun is really kind of getting lower right now. I love this. I'm completely in love with this mix. It's nice shades of blue with the grays and blacks and just a little bit of silver selena in it. I really, really, really love it. And so it's going to be or this or this. If I do take this, I do have more of this turquoise. Let me, if I can. Sorry for the wrinkling. I do have more of this turquoise that I had already previously. So I think I might actually have fun with my blending board and do a lovely mix, mostly of this, but mix all of those three in it as well. These are Superwash Merino. And those two, and the little ladybug progress paper that I showed you, were given to me in a fiber share swap that I just did in June, July. And my partner was Maggie from the Firefly Fiber Arts. So all of those mix are actually from her. I've seen a photo on Instagram of her actually spinning this yarn, and it looks just divine. So I think that might be the next one. And she's fantastic. She's a wonderful person. She has a wonderful company. Everything that I got from her was great. And so if you ever want to go and have a look at her, she's great. Go ahead. I think this is all I have for today. It was a lot. Yeah, it was a little bit longer than what I wanted, but I think that's what everybody says. So I'm not even gonna go down that road. So please feel free to subscribe if you want to know when the next video is going to be. I'm not too sure yet if it's going to be a bi-weekly, so I'm not too sure if it's going to be every 2 weeks or every month or so. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see that with time. I think if I can do another podcast while I'm going to be away on vacation, then I'm totally going to do it, but depending on internet connections and time, it might not be the case. But if I do, I will. If not, I will see you at the end of August for the next one. And yeah, so I hope you really enjoyed it. Please leave a comment in Ravelry for anything related to knitting, spinning. If you have cross-stitch comment, please feel free to leave them below, and subscribe if you liked it once again. And please let me know of any comments that you have. So I hope you had a good time. Have a great day. Hopefully it's sunny as well for you guys, so enjoy the rest of your day. And I will see you next time.